Hello, everyone. Welcome to my session. Today, I would be talking about demystifying the source and leveling up your code review. I'm Kamal. I'm a project manager in Flutter and a YouTuber. Today, I'll be talking about the importance of clean architecture code and the skill that is required to balance between a strictly documented process and a non threatening collaborative environment. Now, whenever there's a new technology in the market, everybody is keen to know about it, learn it, and then convert an idea into a product. But most of the developers actually do not build a well architecture or a structured code, or a well tested code, or a good quality code. So, today we will see the techniques to demystify your own code and at the same time also learn how to develop the code review skills and give a constructive feedback. The reason that you're going to say the reason why I emphasize so much on this code review or understanding the code is that you're not going to stay as a developer throughout your journey. You will come across where you have to review codes and also review your peer code. And that's a very important skill that you need to develop to give a constructive feedback. So definitely I was in the situation where I looked into my own code and I was like, is this my code? Why did I write this function here? I could have written it in a better way. So these kind of questions should not pop up in the later stage. So let's see how we can fix these missing code. Or how do you turn your spaghetti code into a clean code? So there are a few missing factors that you need to really concentrate. The first one would be a clean architecture code, which is the first step. Uh, it's been said by Robert, the Uncle Bob, who says that the software must follow this layer architecture in which, and if you do this, your system is resilient to any changes in future. So it becomes a framework independent, testable, database free, your UI is separated, your database is different. And rather than getting entangled, even if I want to do a small update on the code, it gets really messy. Also, it's very important to follow some kind of model or a feature driven structure. So, the major problem for the messy or a spaghetti code is all the developers are looking for this instant gratification. That is, I just need to get the output and I'm done for the day. But people really do not check for performance, quality, test cases, or even device check. So, it's really important to understand these features before you jump into building great softwares. Design rules. What I mean by design rules, am I talking about the UI design? No, I'm talking about using polymorphism instead of if else, avoid logical dependencies, having a consistency process that you follow throughout your code so that when you look at your code, if someone who is not into this background, they should feel your code should actually speak everything. So that's how you need to write clean code and also structure codes with more searchable, meaningful, pronounceable names. And also try to avoid writing inner classes and those kind of features. Another important thing is testing. Most of the developers do not follow testing process, which is very important and it has to be adopted in early stages before you start building software. Even to make your software bug free, or even if you add some new features into your software, by writing test codes, you can actually understand the importance of it. And the later part, or the last thing that I would say people should emphasize or understand is the documentation. Writing documentation, understanding the testing process, whether it could be a simple README notes, a screenshot, license, log issues, contributions, title, description is very important. And some tools like GitHub, Atlassian, Glyphy, if you use them, they all are open source. Please feel free to use them. Coming to the constructive feedback, I think there are 5 points that you really need to understand. Giving feedback is a skill. Do you really need a feedback or is it necessary? Understand this. Feedback is a culture. Talk about the code and not the coder. And there is always a new perspective on your code. For me, it's 6, and for you, it is 9. So both are right, no one is wrong here. Give a productive criticism. Talk to the person whenever needed. Accept that there are different solutions. And so if you keep these points in mind, you'll give a constructive feedback. So if you understand the essence of these features that I talked about, definitely you can build a well-structured code and give a constructive feedback. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Kamal. That was a great, precise talk. My name is Jaita. I'm a senior data scientist with Intelligent. We are an analytics company based out of New York City. And I quickly wanted to share today something that's very important to me. And I feel everybody around me that I have spoken to have somewhere or sometime in their career have felt that. And this feeling is called like we don't know enough of what we are doing. It can also be termed as an imposter syndrome in a very technical and philosophical terms of it. But I guess it's very important for all of us in this, like, how quickly tech is evolving, how we can, kind of navigate the tech space without like that's how I feel about it, that I navigate the tech space without like kind of losing my sanity. So how many times have you all thought that, kind of that you're just getting by in the job, you're not really good. Maybe the success that you got or the promotion that you got came through because you are like your team was great and you got great support, and you kind of like undervalue your inputs or undervalue your contributions to the team. So I feel these are all like kinds of pointers, because the tech is moving so fast and the innovations are like every day changing. There's new methods, new libraries, new technologies that's coming up. So how can we, kind of keep our pace with it and grow with this boom without feeling the need of, oh my god, I don't know enough. So how do we methodically handle that feeling and accept and go ahead? So let's take like look at 5 steps that I feel that really helps me get to that point. First of all, own it. That's the first single most important factor of it. Feeling insecure or like, kind of not feeling up to the mark for the role is kind of like the first sign that you are challenging yourself and are going out of your comfort zone, in that sense. So own that. And own that accomplishment, that only then you will be able to navigate that feeling. So if you are always too comfortable in the job that you're doing, that means like you're just stagnant without any growth in the portfolio or the profile that you're working in, and that's not good for both your intellectual and emotional well-being and growth in the later part of your career. So if you feel that there's something that you're trying to do but you're stuck, that's a good feeling. Take a moment, understand, and then take a deep breath, and then we go forward how to do for the next step. The next step is like what I do is like I always keep an accomplishment journal, which is very important for me. So trust me, it helps to kind of like quantify out loud while negotiating maybe for a promotion, or even for like during a midweek slump, like when middle of Wednesday afternoon I'm not feeling too good, but and I'm like craving and I want to eat a lot of sugar, and like kind of give me that high. But then instead of doing that, maybe let your like read your journal, let your achievement be that kind of excitement for you in your mind. For the third step, I would say that remember that no one expects you to know everything. I know that especially being a data scientist, I know that there's new models every day that comes up, and we are supposed to be like up to it and know about it, but no one expects you to know everything at one go. They just want you to understand the basics of your job. Like for me, if there's a new model, how do I test it? What are the model evaluations? What are the metrics parameters that I should look at? And the rest comes from experience. So working with clients, dealing with real life challenges, and like doing the work hands on kinds of gives you the edge. So if you're still like a new grad who's just like starting out, and there's too many things to know, so don't freak, like don't get afraid of it and resist yourself from learning. That could be the worst thing. The fourth point is like kind of network is like network with your like-minded people. So this is what we are doing right now, like sharing our stories, like understand how they have reached there. Don't be afraid to reach out and kind of seek guidance. Like if you find someone in LinkedIn who's doing great work in your line of work, and you want kind of want to navigate the space with them, reach out and let them know that how they can help you. I'm sure everybody is open to help once you ask them on how they can contribute. If you're seeing someone is doing a great job, go tell them. So that kind of appreciation and praise goes a long way in boosting their motivation as well as yours, because now they know that, okay, I have someone who appreciates the kind of work I do, and like, kind of looks up to me. So that's going to motivate the way they are working, as well as how you feel. I guess, like they say that empowered women empower other women, and that's why we are here together, all of us, working through it and seeing how we can do best. And the last part, and the last factor, very important to keep in mind, is that you should always look after yourself. When I say look after yourself, like being physically active, like, taking health seriously, because if your health suffers, everything suffers. Like, you suffer emotionally, you suffer physically, and then that mental piece of, kind of focusing on a particular project or a topic kinds of goes haywire. I know, like, 'cause there are some days when I'm kind of overdosing on coffee, which I'm trying to cut down. I'm trying to, like, bring more fruits and water in my, like, everyday diet, so that I am kind of focused around the work that I'm trying to do. So if you, and at the end of the day, if you're emotionally and mentally happy, then your enthusiasm will be through the roof, and the only barrier that you feel that you don't know enough and you can't push through your limits will kind of vanish. And because the barrier to anything that we can do is like only us, there's no way anyone else can limit how we kind of explore and excel in our career. So I hope that was like a quick pointer notes on navigating the tech space. I've been working here for almost 5 years, and I know how hard it gets sometimes. So all the best to all of you. Please do reach out to me in LinkedIn if you have any questions. And it was like amazing speaking to you guys. Very excited, and thank you so much for the opportunity. Hope you guys have a great conference day.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Wilkinson. I'm a digital marketing consultant, and I help IT companies like IBM to position and differentiate their products in order to acquire more customers and increase sales and revenue. I'm going to talk to you today about two things. So the first one is how to find and understand your target audience for your technical service. And then I'm going to give you my 3 top tips on how to create convincing messaging that will resonate with your target audience and motivate them to buy from you. So the first and most important thing in the whole of marketing is to understand your audience. Who are they? What are their priorities and pain points? How do they make decisions? And this is important whether you're selling t-shirts for €5 or enterprise software for 5 million. Also, if you're selling to other businesses, you'll need to consider the whole buyer committee, since decisions are rarely made by one person alone. So, who are the key decision makers? Who are the gatekeepers? Say you're selling HR analytics software, your target audience might be the head of HR, but they're also influenced by the people in their team, the HR coordinators, HR business partners, etc. And the gatekeepers are probably the heads of finance and IT. And each one of these stakeholders is going to have very different questions and priorities. So how can you understand your audience better? Well, the best thing to do is to build out buyer personas, which is a fictional character profile representing your ideal customer. So the head of HR might be Sarah, has a business degree, 40 years old, 2 kids, has been working in HR for 20 years. HubSpot has a great free tool for this. I don't work for HubSpot, just recommending a free tool. If you Google HubSpot buyer persona, you will find it, and it really helps you bring your target audience to life. And then the next step is to segment your target audience according to company size, industry, location, so you can create relevant messaging for each. So for example, one SaaS company was offering a free trial on their website, which probably sounds perfectly fine, right? But they actually tripled the number of signups when they changed the offer for their large enterprise customers from start free trial to get a quote. Large enterprise customers can't just start downloading software. They need to discuss it internally. They need approval. So you can't treat all your customers like they're the same. You need to segment them and personalize your communication. So you know who your target audience is, you've segmented them into groups. Now you can get started with your messaging. Yay! So my top 3 tips for this are, number 1, focus on your customer's pain. Every purchasing decision we make moves us along the pain to pleasure line. What keeps your customers awake at night? Understand that and craft your strategy accordingly. The second tip is it's not about you. And this is a mistake I see a lot. If you go on an IT company's website, you'll often see phrases like, "We are the market leader for X," or "We are a data-driven IT company with expertise in blah, blah, blah." But any psychologist will tell you people are obsessed with themselves. So you really need to make it clear what you can do for them. So instead of, we're a HR analytics software company, a better tagline would be, for example, increase employee satisfaction by 500%, for example. And then my last and final tip is to emphasize the benefits and not the features. So people don't buy a mattress, they buy a comfortable night's sleep. And when Steve Jobs launched the original iPod, the slogan was 1,000 songs in your pocket. So Steve could have talked about the 5 gig hard drive, the FireWire connectivity, the synchronization to iTunes, but he didn't. He went with 1,000 songs in your pocket, and that's something that anyone can understand, whether they're a developer or your grandma. If no one understands your product, no matter how innovative the technology might be, no one is going to buy it. So yeah, they are my tips. Understand your audience, focus on them, focus on their pain. If you have any questions about this, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or via my website, fullstackcopywriter.com. Thank you very much, and thanks for the opportunity.
Hello, I'm a data scientist in the finance sector. I'm from Portugal, but I'm living in Vienna since almost 4 years. And my lightning talk is going to be about changing from academia to industry. So I was working before as a geographical information systems expert, and then right now I'm a data scientist. Not yet senior, but it's quite a little change, let's say it like that. And my lightning talk is going to focus 3 main points that I had to deal with, but it can be different from person to person. There's no one way. So my talk is definitely just to help you out to figure out what is important for you, and if you can use it, then I will be super happy. So the first one, the first thing I had to deal with was to understand what skills I could transfer to industry, as well how to convert my CV to a more industry style, and also network as well. It still is important. So regarding the transferable skills, the skills that I saw that were important to industry, and they are actually at the moment still important, are the writing skills, critical thinking skills, the ability to review research literature and write reports. That's definitely still something that it's an asset, because I'm quite quick to go through the things and then to present, the main points, and that's quite, my boss really likes that, and gives him an overall, and then makes him or the team to start to think about other stuff. My data analysis experience, as well the statistical expertise, programming knowledge as well was important. I had to learn by myself Python. I had worked already Python with ArcGIS, but it was not like towards a data science style. So there I had to improve a little bit more, but it was okay. And my oral presentation skills as well were extremely important and are in industry. So regarding the curriculum, the CV, so you definitely have to prepare or convert your CV in an industry style, like what kind of the formatting style, or even the length, because recruiters or even recruiters go through the CVs and they have really to catch something really special, let's say it like that. You have to shine on paper. It's quite difficult, but nevertheless, there are templates that you can see online, and to get some inspiration, and then go or follow that and adapt to it. For example, publications are something that is very important in research. You can summarize your publications by choosing the most significant 3 ones, for example, so like that your employers are able to see your overall productivity without having to go through a long list. Use as well job position keywords. For example, I had to adapt the way how I was presenting myself in the CV. Instead of using, for example, geographical information systems technician, I had to start to use like data analyst, and then now data scientist. So it's this kind of play that we have to consider as well. Use active past tense verbs like implemented, designed, developed. So like that, you show that you accomplished results during your academia time. And then a very personal point is like, when you read your job description, if you see that you can do 80% of what is written there, just go for it. Like just apply, believe in yourself, because you definitely can do it. It can't be that, like every single little thing that, I can do this, and that. If it's 80%, just go for it. And then the last point is network. Network is definitely extremely important because it can give you insights on how things work in industry, and as well, you contact with experts that can help you. Help you to understand better how things work. So get on LinkedIn, of course, attend meetups. I started to attend to meetups here in Vienna, like with the Vienna Data Science Group. Later on, I became to know about the women tech makers. So it was like a snowball. So definitely go to meetups. Speak also with the recruiters in order to understand what industry is searching for, or as well to understand the whole process. Advertise yourself, like doing lightning talks or presentations in conferences and these kind of things, or make a website of yourself where you can show your skills. Seek as well your industry contacts. For example, you can see if there's any academic advisor who has links to local industries or companies, and like that, it can be a starting point. You can also look for initiatives and programs. Such as mentorship programs, where you can start, to see if indeed industry is for you or not. I started, for example, at AIMS before I became a data scientist at the financial sector, and there I started as a very junior level. It can happen but I started to have the feeling that I like this environment. I started to understand how things went through. I just was there like less than a year, but it was extremely important. So I could understand that, yeah, definitely I want to be in industry. And as well, volunteer yourself in projects so you can create connections, because these small groups of work can you show your skills, your presentation skills, but at the same time you create the bond.
Hi everybody, this is Simran, and I am really sorry about the whole technology thing and my video not being available, but I'm glad I could do it through audio. So today I am just going to share a few quick tips about data science. So I recently, literally 7 days ago, finished my master's in business data analytics from United States, and right now I'm working with a labor market intelligence company called Greenwich HR, and it sort of collects hiring and pay data from all around the country and analyzes that so that it can be used by different organizations, by data scientists, by hiring and recruiting firms. So it's a dynamic data, but really challenging, since we are working with really dynamic updates in data almost every single day. So that was a quick view on my background, but I'm just gonna go ahead and share the top 3 tips that I think would help someone who is considering getting into the data analytics or data science field. So my first tip would be to definitely learn some coding. If you don't have much coding skills, that's okay. According to a study of all the data scientists that are there today, about 22% of them have 1 to 2 years of coding, and only about 19% have less than year coding skills. So you're not too behind if you're just thinking of getting started. And Python and R are the industry standard, but about 90% of data scientists prefer R, and that's especially good for unstructured data. I personally prefer R, but that's also because of my inclination towards statistics. But either one of those are fine, but get really comfortable with storing data, retrieving, accessing, manipulating, and making the best out of it. My second tip for data scientists or aspiring data scientists would be to have some mathematical knowledge. Nothing too extensive like advanced calculus or derivatives, but yeah, get comfortable with algebra, statistics, and probability. And my last tip would be to have some domain knowledge. It really helps you if you want to get into a specific field of data science like sports analytics or fintech or supply chain analytics. I think you can really make sense of all the number crunching that you're doing if you understand the story behind it, if you get the concept. So, yeah, these three are my top tips: learn coding, have some mathematical knowledge, and domain knowledge as well. And to sort of wrap up here, look on LinkedIn or Indeed for data scientist job roles and jot down the most common requirements and start working on those skills first. This will really make you ready for at least being a skill, having the basic skills to be a working data scientist. And lastly, the process of becoming a thorough professional data scientist is never ending. So, the most crucial part here is to identify the problem, solve it with data driven approaches, and you will learn the models and technical skills as a barter. So, the key here is to go after the problem to its minutest detail, and the solution will eventually follow along. Thank you. And lastly, if you want, I'll share my LinkedIn and anyone can reach out to me, and I can definitely talk about this a lot more in detail. I just had 5 minutes, so I really had to wrap up things. But definitely reach out and I can help you as much as I can. Thank you so much.